Good morning, everyone, and I hope you all are doing great. Today, we are going to start a very important chapter of class 8, which is adolescent. It is very interesting to read out and learn something new. By this chapter, we are going to enhance our knowledge about reaching the age of adolescence. It's very important to know how our body changes, how we go through the different kind of phase in our life. So let's start this chapter, and the beginning of the chapter is going to start from adolescent, reaching the age of adolescent. Let's see what we have in this and how we are going to know more and more about it. If we see the adolescent of the age of adolescent, right? Basically, adolescent is the period, it's the age between the beginning of the puberty and adulthood. In this, to increase the number and maintain their species in nature, living organisms reproduce. That we all know, right? And most living organisms are able to reproduce only after a certain time in their life cycle. Just see by this picture, it's a very beautiful picture. And if we see, there are different ages that we can see in this. First, the toddler, and then in the end, it's a grown up person who is aged, right? These are the phases of our life that we have gone through, and we can say we are going through. In this, human beings, the life cycle continue to serve several stages of development like childhood, adulthood, and old age. Now, adolescent, if we talk specifically about adolescent, it is a traditional stage of physical and mental development. If I say physical development, we all can see the changes by this image. In this image, we can see the age difference. This toddler, what is his age and how he is going to grow as an old age person. In this, the physical changes we can see, right? But what about mental changes, mental development or human? We can see, we can observe by the way how they behave, by the way how they respond to any situation, and that occurs between childhood and the adulthood. To grow into maturity, that shows adolescence, how we are going to behave, how the maturity levels will come, that is a part of adolescence. A child and adult, and between this child and adult the age comes, it is adolescent. Let's see, it is the time of rapid development of growing towards sexual maturity. And what is sexual maturity? Discovering one's real self and recognizing and defining personal values. An adolescent is neither a childhood or nor a adulthood. This is the gap between child and an adult person. This period covers individual from age 12 to 18 years of age. During initial phase, the child changes in the body starting takes place. The child is growing, that means the height is increasing, the behavior is getting more mature. Now, the age 12 to 15 years from the early adulthood period, which makes the one set of poverty. And what is poverty? Let's see. Poverty is a Latin word basically, but it means pubertas. That means age of manhood, a age where a person, where a child is going to be a mature person. It is a turning point from a childhood to a adulthood. And now, this lasts several years during which rapid physical growth and psychological changes occur. Physical growth we all can see, we can all observe, but physical changes comes with psychological changes as well. The mindset of a child changes. He observes many things, and that make many changes in his behavior or her behavior. leading to a sexual maturity. Adolescence begins with the onset of puberty during which certain hormones get activated. We do need to understand that how the hormones change one person's entire body shape and the behavior. It is increase in secretion of sex hormones. Basically, in males it is testosterone and in female it is estrogen and progesterone in females, right? And now to add on further, let's see the individual is capable of reproduction just because of this sex hormones in the body at a certain after a certain age. Average onset of puberty is in female it is 10 year, but in males or in boys it is 12 year. And now the most important thing, every individual person time is different for poverty, and that influenced primarily by heredity. That means the genes that we have from our parents, from the ancestors, and obviously the environmental factors such as diet, what we eat, and exercise, how our body is going through the changes, that depends on that too. Let's see further what we have here. Reaching the age of adolescence changes at the poverty level. Here, the changes poverty level is during poverty the following changes occurs, and these are increase in height. As I told you earlier, the size, the height changes. In male it's different, and in female, that means in girls, it's different. Here, the sudden increase in height and weight at the onset of puberty occurs. We all have observed maybe that sometimes we have seen our younger brother is getting heighted than us. How this happened? This is the role of puberty. The arms, the legs grow faster than the rest of the body, right? And the step in physical growth is more evident in girls, and the age is 11 to 13, whereas in boys it's 13 to 15 years. The sport means a sudden change in the height or a forceful change. That I have told you, this is different from boys and different for the girls. Next, here with the help of this diagram we can see the age and the height of the boys is varying with this red color, and one is with, for male it is showing by this color of blue, right? That means at the age of 13 the height changes around, and at the age of 13 to 15 the height changes for boys. Now let's see more what changes comes with the puberty. After puberty, changes in the size of heart and lungs. By this picture we can easily see that this is the size of our lungs, and the diameter of the heart increases by half and the weight almost doubles. Increase in size and capacity of lungs. That means when we are growing, when a child is growing, the capacity of the lungs is increasing, the size is increasing. Now let's see the difference in boys and in girls due to poverty. In simple language, if I tell you the poverty's definition, which is basically a poverty is a process of physical changes through which a child's body matures into an adult body capable of sexual reproduction. Right? Now let's see what we have here. In boys, due to poverty, large bones, muscles, heart, lungs compared to girls. That means larger bones in boys, larger number of muscles, the size of the heart is large as compared to girls. But in girls, smaller bones, muscles and heart, lungs compared to boys. That means girls have Smaller bones, muscles, heart, lungs as compared to boys, but boys they have larger bone, muscles, heart, lungs as compared to girls. In boys, broader shoulder and narrow hips, but in girls it's just opposite. The size. Girls have curvaceous body, broader hips, and obviously just because of enlargement of pelvic bones in girls. Now, change in voice. Due to poverty, we do have noticed the change in the voice too. The changes of voice. Larynx is also known as voice box is present in the throat. It is a very important part to that help us to speak, that help us to talk, that gives voice whatever we talk. Let's see by this diagram, try to understand the process of voice box, which is larynx. In this picture, we can see it is a tube shaped piece of cartilage which gives your voice a pitch, the pitch to your voice. Now, let's see how it is changing after getting poverty. Before poverty, the voice is small in the voice vocal cord and the short and thin vocal cord. But after poverty, the larynx becomes bigger and vocal cord lengthen and thicken. After poverty, the pitch voice it's getting deeper. But before poverty, the pitch is obviously high. Now, as the body is adjusted to changing form, the voice may crack or break in voice. That depends in different individuals' level. Now, the change in voice when the larynx grow during puberty, it produce out in front of the throat. Let's see how this happened. And just because of this, the front of the throat, it is called an Adam's apple. Let's understand more about it. Larynx growth more in boys. Hence, boys show Adam's apple in front of the neck. Increase activity of sweat and sebaceous glands. What is sebaceous gland and how the increasing shows in the sweat? Let's understand in this. In this diagram, we can see here the one which is showing by this blue color. It is the sweat gland. Yes, from this gland we get the sweat. And now further, the sweat gland of the body develop fully during puberty only, and there is an increased secretion of sweat. As you can see this picture, only adults they sweat a lot, but not the small babies. Sweat glands, sebum, and sebaceous gland. In this picture, we can easily see the pink color showing in this diagram. It's called sebaceous gland. Look at the picture showing here the one boy and the one girl. And now let's see. Do you know the important fact? What makes a voice? How do we get this voice? Let's try to understand more about the voice and how we talk and how this voice come out of from our mouth. When we speak, air rushes from your lungs and makes your vocal cord vibrate, and that produce sound of your voice. And different organism, different individuals, they have different voice because of this. Do we know the males have longer vocal cord or tract than the females? The females have shorter vocal cord or tract. Hence, the difference in the pitch. We can easily identify if somebody is calling over the call whether that person is a male voice or a female just because of this pitch. The sound changes into speech with the help of teeth. lips, and nasal cavity. And now this is it for today's session. There are many more things in this adolescent that we will learn in the coming session. The topics will be for the coming session: sexual development, the reproductive traits in human beings. We are going to learn about all these things, but now for today, let's see to learn more in the coming session. Have a good day.